Coming down to the side.
We have it!
He's going to get it.
Haven't got it!
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly, Miller's still such up. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's gonna do it! Big Barry!
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you may be in the world. Welcome to the lands of the free and the home of the brave. For the people who still don't know where we are, which I found difficult at this time of day, we are at Virginia for the International Raceway, the Virginia International Raceway at Alton in the United States. This 3.27 miles long circuit that is 526 kilometers long and a total count of 23 corners with 12 to the right and 11 to the left. This circuit opens on the 3rd of August in 1957. With me in the commentary booth this evening is Daan Pepels. As always, we will bring you all the action, and we have about 16-17 drivers out on track at the moment on, like I said, this 3.2 mile long circuit. Quickest lap time around this track at 1:36.112 by Lucas Luhr in the HPD ARX 03 2012, the LMP1 class back then, American Le Mans series. And this track, actually, Biggles, designed by the famous Hooper D. Johnson, who designed so many tracks in America. So there you go, just some interesting facts. Yeah. Yes. It was actually pretty close to that quickest lap time from Lucas Luhr at 1:36.112. It was a 1:39.8, but that was in the race. Now, earlier on in the Europe session, we had a bit of trouble during the, or technical trouble during the qualifying, so we did not see qualifying. We did not see the time swap in. The only times that we saw was a 1:41, which we know in these cars it's not that the first lap you put down is not the quickest lap. So we know that that issue is there in these cars, but this is really going to be the first time for me too to experience qualifying in these cars around this track. So I wouldn't be able to say really which lap times we are looking at. However, one thing I do know, and that is that we will be in the 1:39s, and if we have a quick driver, a really quick driver, you might be in the 1:38s, but that is highly unlikely, Biggles. For sure. This man that we're looking at right here got a podium in the Europe 1. For the people who haven't seen the Europe 1, it was Adam Isaacson heads of Malo, and then in third came this man on the last lap of the race. He threw it down the inside on the roller coaster, turn 14 on this track, and well, an amazing overtake. So did it happen for racing. Adam Isaacson overtook Alfredo Malo, on the last lap of the race, going down into turn 16A and turn 16B. So basically the last 2 real corners on this track, that's where the overtake happened on the last lap of the race. So it was very close in the Europe one. And we're looking to see more of that here in the Americas one. Now, we are into qualifying. The drivers are out of track in their lightest cars. They're out of track, pushing these cars to the limit, Biggles. And this, for me, always the most exciting time of a weekend. Qualifying. Drivers on the edge, cars on the edge, absolutely going for it. Yes, for sure. Here we go. Just coming across the start-finish line. There he is, Barry on the right-hand side on top into the horseshoe. Turn number 1. We'll have about 17 cars trundling into the horseshoe on lap number 1. Let's hope they all get through cleanly. Down to second gear. Those are Arturis Condales. Into turn 2 and 3 down the NASCAR bend. A tricky one. You have to get it completely right. And you hook it in to the left hook. Turn number 4, A and B. And you, well, head on to the snake. Turn number 6, A and B. So many A and B's here on this track. Something that I said earlier on, the Europeans I didn't really like. It's 2 different corners, but it's the same corner name. Okay. Americans like to name their corners like that. I'm not the one going to tell them that it's wrong. Through the twisty section of turn 7 to turn 9. The next braking zone or lifting zone. That's what he does. Just about lifts down to the south bend, turn 10. Now the most difficult corner on the track. Oak tree. Down into second gear. Cut it inside and then accelerate down the back straight. Where you have so much time to think about something else. And this is a prime overtaking opportunity. Going down into turn 13 and turn number 14, the roller coaster. We've seen so much overtaking happening, but also so many incidents happening because drivers outbrake themselves, braking right about at the 4 number boards into the roller coaster. Chuck it in nicely down the second gear, up through the gears we go into hot pen for 16 and 17. And we accelerate onto the front straight. There we go. That was a lap around this beautiful Virginia International Raceway circuit. And let's see what Arturis Condales is going to be able to put down. There we go. Into second he goes on a 141.222 for Vieira. Means that Arturis Condales has done a 141.8. So not too bad for a first lap time here. Though, is the one who at the moment is quickest of everyone on that first lap. Now that first lap doesn't really tell us anything if we know one thing from previous rounds, but so much improvement is going to be found later on in this qualifying session. As you can see, Arturis Condales purple again. Mateus Moraes, he is purple in section number 2 and 3 though. And it looks like Vieira himself is actually not on an improvement so far. So Lucas Vieira, at the moment, not improving a lot. This is the man who, at the moment, I think could go to provisional pole position. Lucas Vieira has made a mistake, I think, in that lap. And has slowed down a bit. Wants to keep the car as fresh as possible for that last lap. Across the line now for Arturis Condales. Handy pops up into P1. So for 45 thousandths of a second behind that is Arturis Condales. Moraes now is going to go up into P1 probably. But wow. Zuccarelli. Trying my best with that pronunciation there. The name for some reason doesn't sound Canadian. It sounds, I don't know, a bit more cooler, you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, for sure, yes. Yeah. Dailies is one name that I like. Dailies seems to like this track too. Down in fourth, needs an improvement. Moraes has gone up into P1 again, purple in sector number 3. They're struggling to improve in other sectors, so Arturus Dailies with a good improvement might well pop himself up very close to that pole position. Behind him, Lucas Vieira is going at it too. These two P4 and 5 at the moment across the line for Dailies. Lucas Vieira, he is behind him. Dailies takes that pole position. Vieira into P3. I expected Vieira to pop up a bit more. Moraes behind that. Only purple in section number 3. But across the line, gets about 400ths of a second on Arturus Dailies. So he is still there, but the margins are a lot tighter than they were the last time around. On their last lap now for both Mateus Mota Moraes and Arturus Dailies, Lucas Vieira, Diego Schneider, the top 4 all on their last lap right now. Diego Schneider, I think, is the one who's going to come across the line last. Going to be in the order of Dailies, Vieira, Moraes, and then Diego Schneider in the top 4. That is how they're going to come across the line. A little bit further down the order, Stephen Place, who didn't get far in the European race. He got taken out going into the roller coaster. An unfortunate incident there, really. Driver who took him out just outbraked himself a tiny bit. And there's no really avoiding action you can take in that corner. You can't really go to the outside into Oak Tree. Well, a lot of drivers using the exit curb there, or the entry curb, excuse me, into Oak Tree. A lot of drivers just choosing to avoid the rough patch on the left-hand side of the circuit. Right-hand side of the shot for you guys at home. Lucas Vieira, where is he going to pop himself? Arturus Dailies is going to come across the line just before him. And he needs about 400ths of a second. Is he going to get it? Arturus Dailies is not, it seems like. Vieira, he is also not going to get it. 22,000 of a second behind that. Moraes is the next one across the line. Already has that pole position. Is he going to improve even further? He is not, well, was about 600ths of a second slower in that lap. Talking about the margins being very slim. Stephen Place pops himself up into P4 with that last lap. 141.1, 3/10 off of Moraes. But look at the top 3. Moraes on a 140.822. Then you have Vieira 22 thousandths of a second behind that. And Dailies a further 18 thousandths of a second behind Vieira. How close, Biggles, do you want it at the top of the standings? Well, yeah, the fact that I didn't call the fact that Duckworth took him out because I didn't want to put the blame on anyone, that was really the reason. Because it was kind of an unfortunate incident for Duckworth too. He just ran in a bit too deep. There was no kind of hard feelings between the two. After it happened, they've probably talked about it and they've moved on, knowing the two drivers. But yeah, it happens sometimes. But qualifying has come to an end, and I think for us now, it is time to take a look at how the drivers will be lining up. Mateus Moraes will start in first position ahead of Lucas Vieira on the front row together with him. Like I said, 400s covering the top 3. Arturus Dailies in P3, 400s behind Mateus Moraes. Stephen Place in P4, Diego Schneider P5. 6 alongside him on the third row, Diego Zuccarelli, Johnny Hambe, and Eric Harmon on row number 4, Patrick Kingston and Richard Horn on row number 5, rounding off the top 10. Juan Moncada in P11 ahead of Manuel Solorzano in P12, P13 for Joel Jacklin, Nathan Brumby in P14, Charles Crossage in P15, and Scotty Galligan, our lovely Australian, doing the last two first challenge once again this evening. He starts from P16. Five red lines are gonna be on the gantry. It's lights out and away we go for the America one. The Radical World Series Americas. Down in the turn one, Moraes already has lost his P1. Lucas Vieira with a monster start from P2, and he is up into P1. The two Brazilians swap positions. Artur Scondelis in P3 and Diego Schneider in P4. Steven Plays in P5, dropped the position from where he started, and a little bit further back in the field, it seems like some chaos commenced. Scotty Galligan, though, as always, Biggles up 4 positions from where he started. As always, a monster start from the Australian. Still keeps that lead. He got a monster start compared to everyone else. Matthias Moraes especially didn't expect that one. Now coming down into the roller coaster, the back part of the track, into the last sector. Lucas Vieira already creating a little bit of a gap to the drivers behind number 2, Scondelis. Once again in that 3rd place. He's going to pick up another podium spot here this evening. Of course, like I said, picked up a podium spot in the European one earlier on this evening. Got 3rd on the last lap in the last corner of the track. Well, an incredible drive from Artur Scondelis there. Now they're looking to do one better at least. But actually is the driver under pressure from Artur Scondelis. However, we both know that Moraes, with that pole position, definitely is someone to take into account for that victory. He's been very, very quick so far. A little bit wide up front from Lucas Vieira. So a mistake or two is in him. And Moraes knows that too. So he's just got to wait patiently, really, until Vieira really makes a mistake, and then just kind of capitalize on it, Biggles.
They're down on 100% sure if they can hear me. Hopefully, Mr. Stevie Zombie Kebab out there had mentioned that. We'll see. No doubt. We've got the pictures there. You still can hear lovely Dan's voice. Lovely Dan casting this one between the two Brazilian masterminds. And just like that, Arturas is caught back up, as well as Diego and Stephen Place. You can see them on your pictures right now. Then a little bit of a gap back there, Eric Hartman.
It's the lovely world of OBS changing, changing scenes again, or changing scenes, changing properties. With that, we had the wrong property selected, so you couldn't hear Biggles. But Biggles, a lovely Australian, is definitely here this evening. The fact that you couldn't hear Biggles was a bit sad, of course, in the beginning. Some great information there from Biggles about this track. But yeah, sadly, you've missed that now.
Right, mate.
Matheus Moraes still in P2 with the fastest lap of the race, now 2 seconds quicker than Lucas Vieira, so both Brazilians pushing each other to new levels. And what Moraes is going to look closely at Vieira here to try and overtake him, see where he can get past on this difficult track to pass though. It does promote for some good racing, but to pass all the way from Snake, all the way to South Bend, it's difficult, even though you get a very good toe in this part of the track.
Stephen Place is giving a shot there on Diego Schneider, so yes. And also, it was a little bit of a moment off track there from Manuel there, our Colombian driver. He went into pit road to just confirm that one of that, CJ, because you probably couldn't hear me referring to that reference that you said. Yes, he went in and out of pit road. And the top three you can see in the pictures. It's just wondering if Stevie was going to get close enough at this one. But more so, this is the battle right now you've got on your pictures there. And that is definitely there's opportunity right there, because Matthews unfortunately made a little bit of a twitch of an oversteer moment. And they dropped that place now to the Lithuanian driver up to P2. Commentators.
Dailies was third in the European one. And now second in the Americas one. Half a second behind that win. Arturus Dailies. He will be very happy if he can pick up that win. He was very happy with P3 already in the European one. So Arturus Dailies is going to go for a win, going to give it a shot. Is he going to have a go at it? Because it looks like at the moment he needed Mateus Moraes to kind of stay close to Vieira. We're going to see in the next couple of laps if he's going to be able to keep up. At the moment though, with the slipstream, he does have the advantage of quickest straight line speed. And look how much he's gaining on that straight. Gained about 2/10 already, just only on the front straight.
Just here to keep an eye on the battle brewing in the background too, between P11, P10 and P11. So Diego Zuccarelli from the Event Matrix teams are on the back there of Juan Moncada from the Team Red Line. So that's a nice little battle that's also brewing on your pitches. It is across the board there. Most of the drivers, actually, believe it or not, on this field are separated within a second of each other. We saw that during the qualifying. We're seeing it again during the race. And we're 4 laps into this race, and we're still seeing lots of this fantastic action. That's because, as you said there, it's one thing to catch, another thing to overtake is difficult.
Especially down the section that we're coming through now, the back section, or the front section of the track. It is especially difficult to overtake from Snake to South Bend. Have a little look further back in the field where it is Ziggers Corelli on the back of Juan Moncada. Moncada himself did a great job last time out, and Ziggers Corelli will be looking to
we might have to go back to that one. Yeah, we might have to go back to that one, because look at that. Look at the gap in the lead here, pushing like crazy here. Split one, took one Brazilian off there for Adonis, and now he wants a second one for an evening snack here in the Americas division. European early in the morning, I'd have to say there for that Lithuanian driver, but it is definitely in the evening here for the Brazilian drivers, who are maybe looking at the rear gearbox of the 16 machine soon. We shall see, but if Lucas Vieira can hold him off.
Well, Lucas Vieira, he's quick. He's had some practice in the European one. Vieira, does not have the advantage of having that, so Condelis is going to know how this car is going to handle throughout this race. Condelis is going to know when the car starts to get a bit more unpredictable, and you can see it there. Vieira's on the track on the outside now for turn number 4A, and that is a beautiful overtake by Arturus Condelis. We do, ladies and gentlemen, have a new race leader. It's the number 16. It is Arturus Condelis, the Lithuanian driver, after picking up a podium position in the European race earlier on. He's now in position to win the America one. What a prime position for Arturus Condelis to be in down the turn 10. What this has done, though, is it has allowed Mateus Moraes to catch back up to the two up front of him. David Schneider, who's all over the back of him, Stephen Place. So we have got about a 5-way battle, 6-way battle for P1 now.
Exactly. Look at that. Look at the interval gaps. Almost everybody within a second down to P7, and then you can't say nothing too much about Richard Hearn. He's almost within that limit, and he's got Hamby there for company. And then you got a 4-second gap to P10, and then they start to spread up through the field there as well too. So Scotty gaining 4 positions in the 666 machine, but not slicing through the field as Scotty's done in the past. Struggling on this circuit, as we know it's a little difficult to overtake. So far, the overtakes have been mistakes, just like that on your pitches. Just like that, Stephen Place unfortunately got a little bit too deep into the corner and has to allow 2 cars to go on by, as Patrick's also looking to take an advantage here on the 617 machine of Eric. And that's just going to be filing in here for sure. It's all about the exit speed, isn't it? Getting on the power there at the rear end, slip a little bit. Just like a go-kart at that point, but not too much. An off-track excursion. Great racing. Love to see it.
Patrick Hinks, he was so close to making a pass there on the outside. A little bit of a lock-up from Harman in front of us. Not going to do this tire is any good. And that will definitely show Patrick Kingston that there is some room for him to maybe throw the car either around the outside or up the inside for Patrick. For now, though, he's going to have to enter in the front of the field. Jacob Schneider, yes, front row seats for that battle for P1. Matthias Moraes now still in third. Ahead of him, it's Lucas Vieira and Arturis Davies still in P1, a purple section number 1 this time round. So he's definitely putting up the pressure on the two behind him to follow him. And if they don't, he might as well create, or he might well create a grab here to the two behind him. And when that happens, I think Davies is going to be in his element. When he gets that gap of about a second, so the two behind him have to watch out. Matheus Moraes is going to try and make an overtake on Vieira too, because he wants to be the best of the two Brazilians in this race, really. Or do you think the two countrymen are going to work together, Biggles?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. That's a very interesting question. If they do work together, I'm not quite sure what they can do at the end of the day, because the only way to do it would be to get an overtake done and try to slow the driver down. But I don't think, even if they do, were planning on that one before, didn't quite pan off. So more than anything, it's about catching and getting past. And I don't think Luke is going to be worried too much about the man that we're riding on board with right now. He's just wanting to do his own race at this time. They are teammates, of course, but...
There was someone off, Harman, and Blaze are off together. I think that was placed up the inside of Harman. And the two teammates have collided.
Oh, now that's going to be scary for the On Wheels racing team up the road too, isn't the Brazilians just getting on the team radio at the moment, hearing that message going, teammates colliding. We don't like to see that, that's for sure. Gunter certainly doesn't like to see that. Gunter Steiner is not actually going to be your engineer, but he will start calling people a bunch of if they keep that work up there. Anyway, we don't quite sure what's happened exactly, so there could have been some other concertina effect, and I think it was here by this driver. Bang, there it is. But the teammates didn't only come together there because of what happened earlier there, so Dan, so they didn't come together.
It was Patrick Hingston who went up the inside of Harman, and well, to be frankly honest there, he just didn't have anywhere to go. Stephen Place down at piece 11 to drop 7 positions, but yeah, just had nowhere to go really for Hamby. So Patrick Hingston together with Hamby really doing their best to avoid everything there, but couldn't really. But in the end, two teammates collided. Eric Harman, well, got out worst of the two, let's put it like that.
Well, that's racing. As simple as that. And the only place to kind of be a little bit less more secure about anything like that happening up the road would be in P1. But the problem, obviously, in being P1 right now is the pressure he's having right now on the two Brazilians behind him. So as Cadelius is trying his absolute best to maintain that pace that he had. He got past two of them, remember, to gain that P1 position. So he's done the work, but remember, he's now breaking the air and slowing the car down a little bit, still allowing the other two Brazilians to try to do something about it. But he seemed to be matching every single attack right now from Lucas.
Well,
so far, that is.
Stephen Place with some bad luck again, Biggles. He was caught up in that incident earlier on this evening, and he is once up caught up in an incident, not his fault. Stephen Place doesn't look like this track is loving him at the moment. Lucas Vieira getting all over the back of Kudelis, however, making a mistake again. And we've seen that so many times this evening. Just mistakes is what is creating these gaps here this evening. And we didn't see a lot of them in the Europe one. But the Americans are definitely making up for it. Every driver so far has made a mistake, except, and that is why he's there, Arturis Condelis. He has just stayed clean, kept his car clean, and he at the moment is leading the way in this race. He knows just as well how important it is to just lead that last lap, because he was in that race too, where on the last lap, there was that change for the lead between Adam Isaacson. So Adam Isaacson got paused, well, on the last lap of the race, and that.
Well, Dan,
for the most part, Malo was leading. So.
Well, anything can happen in a motor race, certainly on the last lap. We've seen it before in this series too. But the question answered about whether the teammates are going to work together, well, that's a switcheroo at the moment. So Matthias and Moraes can go and try to chase down now our race leader. And just like that, you'd have to grant it. I have to give it to Lucas Vieira. I think he had that lock up right, and I think he just turned just a little bit of an avoiding action because he wanted to make sure he didn't slam into the back of the driver so that he can keep both those drivers going. Look off. That's Richard Hearn, isn't it?
That must be. Richard Hearn is dropping down the tower. And he is. Oh, there's damage to that car. Let's take a look at what Richard Hearn has done. Coming out of turn 4B, this is onto the grass.
It's got to be onto the... No, not there. There.
Oh, just loses it. That's a
before.
weird one.
Yeah, after it's not even... The car was on the tarmac. It's just, I guess, too much power because then you got to swing it to your left, remember, through those S's. And I think at that point, when he's gone to correct it, the car's just said, sorry, man, I'm going way too quick into this corner. There's nothing you're going to do to stop me unless I'm going to hit the fence. And that's just the way it pans out for Richard Hearn, unfortunately. But still in the race.
If we look on board, everything is still straight. So he still has a fighting chance. As long as everything is straight, I always say, there's a chance to claw some positions back, which is good. If we go on board with Richard Hearn, everything seems to be straight for him. Up front, though, the gap to...
As a Lego song would say, everything is awesome.
Oh, that is deep.
Yeah, that's not a great...
Rise.
Yeah, completely different racing line going into that one. And that's against you. Yep.
It seems
he's
to
trying
be
everything
out, though, for him, because he's gained time with doing that. It looked like for a second that was just way too deep for Matthias Moraes.
I think Scotty's going to get an overtake as well too, my friend. Make his way up in a P8, perhaps on one. It's going to be a matter of time, isn't it? As most of the other drivers are going. Is that Scotty in our rear mirrors again? Yes, it is. Most people are always used to having Scotty in their rearview mirror. Scotty's, of course, got that Watch Me On delivery on the side of the car. And, well, Scotty, you're going to get that overtake done soon, mate. It is here in our race notes. Scotty, overtake on lap 10. There it is. So get it done soon, otherwise we're going to have to switch the camera off you. One moment to shine here on the JP Broadcasting Network for the SR8s. Just had to back off a little bit there, Dan. I think it's just a difficult part of the track to get too close.
Oh, there it is!
That is that's not his fault. Of course, a bit of a lock-up there from one, and a very, very avoided there, so Scotty could almost taken the nose cone off that car. He might have needed to watch me after that point, my friend, but there it is. So to back off a little bit. Still, Matthias. Why am I really just absolutely butchering their names here from the Biggles butcher tonight? Sorry. He's quicker and quicker, but then he can't find a way around the Lithuanian driver still. But he's looking closer and closer. Scotty, sorry, we're going to have to switch away from you. You had your opportunity. Back up to the leaders, let's say there, Dan. There you go.
Right, all over the back of Cornelis again. This is a recurring theme that we've seen this evening. It is a battle for the lead. Now let's hope for Cornelis that heartbreak won't strike again in the last corner, and that he can, well, at least stay in the position where he was, because he at the moment seems to be deserving race winner. So is Moraes and so is Vieira, but Cornelis has been leading most parts of this race. He stayed clean, has not made a mistake.
He's applying pressure now. Two for now. Look at the different racing lines here, just applying real pressure. They want to go aboard if we can right now at the Brazilian, because look at this, is one of the closest that they've ever been. He's got to be tucked up in the dirty air right now. Very difficult to spot your braking points here. Switch the car over to the right. Hug it like your favorite grandma. Hopefully it'll stick onto the track there. A little bit of an overspeed moment, but still good to see within half a second. Climbing your way up the hill. Get on that loud pedal as loud as you can. All the way at fifth gear, sixth gear. Almost you should reach 142 miles an hour. And then get ready for the all-important braking point and apply the pressure again and again. Because you know, he wants it. He had the pole, and at the moment he's sitting in P2. Look at the different racing line going here. That's bold to send it there, because the rear end's almost going to slip out. Manages to make it stick there, Dan. Great racing.
That was a late move, I think. Take a look at what Jacob Schneider has done. Really quickly. This is into Oak Tree, I think. Yes, into Oak Tree. And he's just going to go too early on power, and he is going to throw that car around. Good save, though, to not let it completely spin 180 degrees. Gets that car back on track, but you lose so much there, Biggles, because you're at the start of such a long straight. There comes Scotty Galligan. He is, of course, the luck that Scotty Galligan has not going to get him, I think. Is he?
No, should be up on power on that one. No, I think Scotty might get him here, actually. Keep it on this for a second. We are looking at the replay still.
No.
No, he's got his...
he's
Oh,
gonna go
too
off
much
again.
power. And in fact, he will.
Contact.
Because they took each other out. No, Diego, that's a little bit too much
Guess who that is?
eager there, mate. Yeah, you went far too eager on
Guess
that.
who that is?
And don't say it's Stephen Place, is it? Oh, no. Poor Stevie.
Oh, I was almost going to say
Poor
it's Stephen
Stevie.
Place. No, it was not Stephen Place. I was going to say it was Stephen. I think it was his teammate, Charles Crossage, who got caught up in that, or Richard Horn.
Oh, well.
Back at the front, though, back to live pictures. Moraes is off the track again, almost hits Vieira off. And there we go. Condelis has that second gap now. But these two have just been... They've been making too many mistakes, Biggles.
They can't
and that
get
is
it
just
done. That's the
allows,
problem.
yeah, they've allowed Condelis to just get away.
Now, granted, they're trying. I love it. And they still managed to hold on to that P2 and P3. And if I was Patrick Hingston just a little bit further down the road, I'd be like, mate, that's 7 seconds. Might seem an eternity for the battle for P3. But considering they are making mistakes trying to get past the Turtles, then, hey, I would stick with it. As there's Johnny Hambury as well, too, in the old classic Lotus livery, of course, for the JP Special. Back in the day of 80s and 70s Formula 1 cars.
Nostalgia, that one for you, probably.
Yeah. Well, I remember growing up watching that on TV, of course. We used to have advertisers for those brands. Yeah, like
I'm a bit young for it, sadly.
Cigarette advertisers, mate, when they used to have cigarettes. Now they just have gambling advertisers and cryptocurrency advertisers and all that sort of stuff, which is just as bad. But we won't talk about that.
These two going at it. This is the battle for P4. So just outside the podium. The gap to the podium for Hingston is about 6.9 seconds. But with the mistakes that we've seen at the front, it is not impossible for these two to catch them, really. If they just can stay close, if they can stay within that 10-second mark, if a big mistake happens...
Speaking of the devil, it's happened! It's happened! I was about to say right on cue, the only reason why I think they'd be able to get past the Lithuanian driver right now, Dan, is if he was to make a mistake. And I believe he has. I didn't want to have to think about that and in order to see the pictures, but they were applying the pressure. You know how difficult it is. What's happened, Dan? He's really dinged up at the back here. He's lost it on his own. Yeah, that's what I thought.
No!
I knew it. The only way you're going to be able to probably... He had the pace, but he's been driving flawlessly. That's just what I was saying. I was thinking, like, the only way they're going to beat him is if he makes a mistake on his own.
That's
what's happened.
How many mistakes? We did not see more than 2 mistakes by drivers in the European race. And it's incredible how many we've seen here in the American ones. He's off again. Condelis is off again from P1 to P absolute 0 for Condelis.
And he can't reverse.
He's stuck in the wall, and Condelis from leading this race for more than half of the time he's completed.
Look at that. He can't get the rear down
race. Arturis Condelis, and like we said, a mistake up ahead could promote one of these drivers up into the podium, and it has done so. Patrick Hingston up into P3 ahead of Johnny Hamby in P4. This is now, Biggles, the fight for P3 in that last podium position.
This is why I said before there, if you're Patrick, don't worry about how far down the road you are from him. I'm saying anything happens up the road, you got yourself a podium. And you do, but you got to hold on to that podium for dear life, my friend, because you do have a charging Johnny coming down your gearbox tooth and nail. And time is what it's all about. And considering on the team radio that everybody's been hearing all the best drivers in this series have been going off, mate. So nobody is immune to the Virginia International Speedway, that's for sure. Or Raceway. And Johnny's now going to make a run. Johnny's going to lift off a little bit here. I think he's electing that corner's going to come up pretty soon. What are you going to break on the 1 mark? I like how it goes 1 to 4, 3, 2, 1, 4. Something weird on that one. You might have to explain that too, Dan. I don't know how those braking marker works.
Usually that's the amount of meters in hundreds left to the corners, or however they do it in America, or whatever they do it in.
It must be feet or something. I doubt they'd use meters, but unless they're the International Raceway. Anyway, somebody's saying, yeah, unfortunately, a Columbia driver might have gone off again too, Manuel. as my lights are flickering tooth and nail here at the moment. Hope my electricity holds off a little bit more than it did earlier today. Blown transformer that I had today. I don't know if he's blowing no gearboxes here, but certainly some of those egos, some of the racing driver spirits are blowing off some of the steam, haven't they, in unfortunately making mistakes themselves. Just little ones on this track. It's difficult, obviously, to drive.
Well, into the snake section once again. Got about 5.5 minutes left here in this race, and we've already had some drama. And that came in the form of Arturo Scondelis, who picked up a third position in the European one earlier on this evening. Was leading this race, was flawless up until 2 laps ago, really. Here in this corner, Oaktree got too far to the outside, back left wheel, well, touched the grass, and he went around. Now that was not too big of an issue. He still was in a podium spot and would pick up some great championship points. But then disaster struck down in the turn 1. Hamby is going to go for a move here, is he not? He's not. He's just going to try and pressurize Hingston a bit. Going to try and get him off his line. Hingston, however, has been dealing with this pressure for so long now. And he knows that Johnny is going to have to either go for a move or he's not going to get past. Johnny just feeling where maybe he can get past into like the last couple of laps.
He's quicker. Look at that. But I just like considering what's happened between both those Brazilian drivers, how they've both gone off moments. They both, you know, had to bring it obviously to the race leader before that. They've had a little bit of mistake racing. You see damage on the back of the car there too as we're looking in the back. That's Krasik actually. That's Charles. And it might be taking candy from a baby there because of that damage. We're not 100% sure, but the Hot Wheels car obviously is a little bit dinged up. And Diego making his way back up at a P10, still losing 5 positions on this one. His off-track excursions. I wonder, if I was obviously Lucas and Mathis, I would just like settle down, guys, you know. If I was the race engineer. Somebody's gone off in the track there, into the background. You see that there, Dan? I'm not sure who that was. That was Charles Krasik.
Could be.
The number 53 machine. Yeah. Go and visit the old sand trap.
Yeah, it was the Hot Wheels car. And it wasn't the crossing, it was off the track. Let's take a look at what happened to him.
I think it's just damage. It's really like maybe the rear end of this car is all just dinged up so much that he just can't get power down anymore. Look, he's trying, but the car's not agreeing. No. Flip around.
Yeah, did well. Yeah, he's gonna have to. Anyway. Yeah, he's gonna have to try and just get to the end of this race, really.
Yeah, limp at home, mate. Limp at home. But then you're gonna have to severely just. You upshift a little bit earlier there to keep your revs down. Just you know, try not to put too much power down out of the corner and just limp at home. Get some points. But these two up the road, yeah, mate. I say you got to settle in here. You both had an opportunity. They both had, you know, opportunities to take, you know, the race win here, defend, and both of the drivers have made mistakes here this evening. In fact, all top 3 drivers have made mistakes on their own as well, just like that actually, as Matthias has.
I think every driver at this point has made a mistake here this evening, Biggles, with the amount of mistakes that we've seen. Settle
down, see the checkered flag, and take a P2 any day of the week, and you'll have a Brazil 1-2 on top of it, because Patrick down the road 8 seconds shouldn't be too much of a threat. The only threat Patrick will be, of course, if you do allow those 2 Brazilian drivers to go for it 2 for now.
Corelli is under pressure from Scotty Gallagher, who's got himself up into P6. What a drive from the Australian. Gained 10 positions. Which last week, if he gained 11 positions, he would have won that race. And well, he was very quick 2 weeks ago, excuse me. Well, last week, you know more about that, Biggles. We'll get to that after the end of this race. About 1 minute 40 left on the clock. That will mean that once Lucas Vera now gets across the line, but, well, he's going to do that very soon. Then we will enter the last lap of this race. 18 laps will be completed at the end of it.
Yeah, Lucas 2 battles as well. Go ahead.
Lucas Vera has done an incredible job so far. Scotty Gallagher is going to do an incredible job too. Great overtake on Zuccarelli. Zuccarelli went a bit wide. Is off the track even.
A little bit more than wide, unfortunately. He's got 10 seconds at the moment, so just got to get on the power there. Keep yourself cool. You just realised, okay, P5's gone. but P6 definitely yours. You've got that pace. You've got a second or so there to Joel. Joel's sitting in your background, so you get back on the power should be okay because you realise you're on the last lap. What about 2? Is Johnny Hamlin going to take it away from Patrick? So the battle for the United States drivers there, car 14 and 8. As you can see, all your pictures, of course, is also the fact that Richard Hearn's trying to bring something.
No, he's too
on
damaged.
Nathan?
That car is trundling along, trying to make it to the end of this race. He's not going to be able to make any move whatsoever, at least in a straight line, because he was down some considerable kilometers an hour compared to what Hearn was doing. And, well, he's going to try and limp home to the end of this race. Hamby, he's going to try and get that iconic 70s livery up into the podium positions where it has been so many times back in the time, or back in the days.
I don't think he can have enough. I think Patrick's holding off enough. You've got to force Patrick into a mistake. I don't think you're going to get him a raw pace here. And that's just the stress. But here we go. They have to switch it over, of course, to the number 5 machine. So Lucas going to gain that place. And hey, that's a place you want to take, of course, the On Wheels racing team with the Senna-esque livery. Helmet, that is.
Lucas Vieira, an incredible drive from the Brazilian here this evening. Needs 2 more corners to complete them successfully. And then Lucas Vieira is going to come through to take victory at the Virginia International Raceway. Lucas Vieira is victorious in round number 5. And what a drive from the Brazilian. Matheus Moraes comes through in second. It's a Brazilian 1-2. Well, what more could you ask for as a Brazilian? Hingston in P3. And Johnny Hamby indeed comes through in P4, 2/10 of a second behind his fellow countryman in P3. What a drive also from Scotty Galligan. Got himself all the way up from P16 into P5. What a drive. It wasn't without issue, but an incredible drive once again, Biggles, from the Australian.
Yeah, Stephen Place will actually still come into P9 after all the dilemma and all the drama he's had from the Team Radline machine. Losing 5 places, but still getting himself in just inside the top 10 is fantastic, as well as Diego Snyder behind him as well, too. Both those drivers have been in the wars, and still finishing with some crucial points is crucial in the championship as well, too. Behind Nathan Brumby there, the other Australian driver, 3 positions gained. He'd be happy with P11 for sure. And Charles Krasik, of course, he's been involved in the wars, but he still ended up gaining a couple positions, finished P13. We'll go through his results anyway in a second there.
Well, the results are going to be up on your screen very, very shortly. There they are. Lucas Vieira wins ahead of Matheus Moraes to make it a all-Brazilian 1-2. Number 5 out of the number 15. And the 2 Brazilians happy as Larry. Lucas Vieira, the happier of the 2, I can imagine. Matheus Moraes in P2, just 2 seconds behind him. Patrick Kingston ahead of Johnny Hamby. We saw that battle for the for that last podium spot because Arturus Kondelis crashed out with about 5-6 laps to go, and disaster struck for the Lithuanian. Scott Gallagher in P5 ahead of Diego Zuccarelli in P6. Joel Jacqueline in P7 ahead of Juan Moncada, rounding off the top 8 ahead of Stephen Place in P9, and Diego Schneider rounding off the top 10 this evening. Nathan Brumby in P11 out of Richard Horn in P12. 13 for Charles Crossage and Matt Lozano in P14. 2 drivers not making it to the end of the race. We talked about it. Arturus Kondelis with about 5-6 laps to go. Disaster struck down in the turn 1. And he had to sadly put his car in pit lane. Never was able to get back out. Eric Harmon coming through in P16. After he had to retire on lap number 8 of this race. All in all, Biggles, I would say a very, very successful race so far. And let's pull some of those drivers in. And let's start with the driver who finished this race.
Verdade, nós 3 erramos naquele lugar.
Matheus, welcome. Obviously, still talking to his countryman Lucas.
Yeah.
How was the race for you, Matheus? Because you 2 Brazilians were killing it out at front. And, well, did a great job to hang on to the car. Because a lot of people seem to struggle with that.
Yeah. I had a little bit of extra control, I guess. I was seeing that some corners, I had a bit on the braking zone. I could manage to get close whenever I wanted. It was good. This part, I knew I had a little bit of advantage. I like it. We not whoa, I'm completely sweating, guys.
I can imagine after that race, you were on it for the full 30 minutes. Did you ever really feel any tire wear, or was the car good to push for 30 minutes?
The car was good, but I had to be honest. During the last 5 laps, it was a bit different. I could push more because of the slipstream that Lucas was giving me, and I had him as a reference. But I did fail. I did feel somewhere.
Biggles, any questions from your side?
I think it was a fantastic battle between you three gladiators, obviously.
Thank you,
and
guys.
at start there, you're going for it too. But now you are teammates, but it just looked like you were actually just going for it and racing. I thought towards the end there, it was probably a good idea just to settle things down there and guarantee yourselves that 1 and 2 positions. Was that correct? Was team orders at play there, or did you guys just realize, hey, let's just bring these cars home here and do it fair and center?
Yeah, I was thinking like that. The car is too tough to handle. It's really slippery. You can't take your attention off, not even a bit. It kills you, tries to kill you every time. I was kind of hanging, just waiting for things to happen.
Well, they did, my friend. So, GG's on that one. You want to shout out to anybody?
No, just think, guys, awesome league. I love this league. It's awesome. All the races are good. Guys, really respectful. Thank you guys very much.
There's Moraes there, finishing P2 here this evening. Second of the 2 Brazilians. An incredible drive from Mateus. Let's pull in Lucas Vieira, the one who finished on top of the 2 Brazilians. Lucas, welcome.
Hey Dan, how's it going?
Yeah, we're doing great after that spectacle of a race that we've seen, and you were part of it. You were finishing first in the end. What a drive, Lucas. And, well, you had to keep it clean. Some issues throughout the race for everyone, I think. How was the car to handle? Because the conditions in the car seemed really tricky out there today.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was really tricky. It was really hard to keep it clean. I was trying to take really easy on first laps, and I ended up made a mistake anyway. On I think it was turn 3 or 4, and Arthur just passed me by. Then later I tried to catch him, and when I was pushing to get a real good position on the main straight, I made another mistake, and Mateus passed me through by there, and it was really hard to handle the car. I think it was the car was really feeling really good, but I think the rear sometimes was really loose. Maybe the wing is too low. I don't know. I didn't check the setup, to be honest. Maybe the wing was too low, but we used the setup on the officials long time ago, so maybe did a review on the setup. But it was good in the end. It was drivable, apart from mistakes.
And do you think those mistakes were down to the fact that you just mentioned, that maybe the setup has a little lower wing, or was it maybe the track temperature that was way warmer than anyone really expected?
For me, especially, it was lack of practice. I will be honest. It's not a setup related or anything. I will be honest. I didn't have much time to practice this week. I was traveling the whole week. I get home yesterday, practice a bit on the lunch today, and the race right now. So probably for lack of practice, because I saw the stream from the Europe guys and didn't have much mistakes, like Alfredo Isaac up front was like battling and clocking extremely fast lap times that I didn't even reach closer to this, so probably lack of practice for me.
And did you think today, like you're battling it out with Arturis that managed to get past both of you guys there, do you think it was possible to get past him? Unless he made that mistake, of course, and then he got past. But do you think it was possible to pass him on raw Brazilian pace today?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, if we didn't make any mistakes, I was closing the gap, and I was trying to. If I didn't make a mistake on the main straight, I was entered on the main straight like 0.1, 0.2 from draft on main straight. So I will have a shot to try to overtake him there. And I know it was really risky on the end, but it if we didn't go for the gap, we're no longer a race driver, right?
Oh, yeah, I remember a famous
There we
Brazilian
go.
saying
Got
that
that
one,
in
my
there.
friend. Exactly.
Got that in there. You can see he's Brazilian with that.
Yeah.
So anybody you want to shout out to, mate? You're used to shouting out a lot of people, another trophy in the cabinet.
Yeah, for you guys, of course, but especially for everyone on this league, it's amazing to watch, especially for Arturus, for Mateus. It's amazing to drive these guys. I'm really happy that we have them in here, so we have like a good race and a good show up to put for you guys.
That was Lucas Vieira in the end, coming through to take the victory here this evening at Virginia International Raceway. One interview to go, and that is with the man who in the end finished P3, Patrick Hingston. Welcome into the booth.
Hello, how y'all doing?
Yeah, we're good. We've just seen an incredible race, and you were battling the whole race long together with Johnny behind you, and when you saw that Condalis was off, did that change the battle in any way because you knew it was for that last podium spot?
Yeah, it made me like think about him more because at first I thought he was just like working with me so we could catch up to them if they're like made more mistakes. But I don't know what happened to Cadelis, but yeah, I managed to get a P3. I didn't expect it because I got a bad qualifying at this start, so like I qualified P9. Yeah.
Well, to come back to the field, I think Condalis, he went off in turn, at Oak Tree, and then at turn 1, disaster struck again for him, and he just went straight on into the wall, and then he got stuck in the wall, so he had to go back to pit lane. That's what happened to Artur. That, of course, promoted you up into P3. The battle with Johnny for the whole race, it didn't really look like, well, at some points, at least on the back straight, it looked like Johnny was holding off the whole time. Were you two working together at any point in this race?
I think Johnny was trying to work with me. I was like wondering why he would try holding off because if he honestly didn't try holding off, I think he could have had like a better chance on the last lap to pass me. But yeah, it's a good race.
Oh, good rate, mate. Patrick, because you gained 6 positions. So your qualifying performance was out there, but you still kept it with the Top Guns there, and with the pace as well too. Your best lap of 47, and there was a best for 45.8 there, I think, from the other Brazilians up the road there. So yeah, absolutely, definitely had the pace, just a little bit off there during your qualifying performance, but then just sit there and watch all the action spinneroo up the road from you and collect that nice podium position. So you're going to feel good about that. This is your first podium so far here in the SR8 Americas?
I mean, this is my first race in this series.
What's your first race? Oh, there you
Yeah.
go. What a way to finish on the podium.
Yeah, like this like today was like my first time ever touching like the SR8. So yeah.
Wow. Well, keep
So
going,
so
mate.
proud
You
to
can only
drive.
go up from here. So, GG's. Anybody you want to give a, we'll let you obviously go celebrate that. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
To you guys and everyone that like runs behind the scenes in this league, because this league's fun and awesome. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Of course, Patrick Hingston finishing 30 this evening. Congratulations.
Thanks. See you.
Well, Biggles, so far I've seen incredible races this evening, and it's sad to wrap it all up now because this track has provided us with 2 brilliant races. To be honest, oh man, it's been so incredible. So, well, wrap it up for me in one sentence if you can, really.
VIR producers. Exactly. VIR producers, and of course, we can't do it out there without CJ in the chat. So, obviously, our best pit lane reporter of all times, capturing all the action that you need to be capturing. Of course, CJ, hopefully, be back in the next round. And thank you very much, Dan.
Biggles, thank you for being alongside me. You at home, thank you for watching once again. And next time for round number 6, we will see you at the Daytona International Speedway the road course. So we're going to a part oval. That is always an incredible race with the amount of slipstreaming that is going on the bankings there. So definitely looking forward to that one. That is going to be next week. Until then, stay safe. See you there. Bye-bye.